Hi, I'm Mike Cerrone with Mastermind Agent. In this video, you'll learn about the Millionaire Real Estate Agent and the 6 steps to 7 figures. Listen to Pat Hyman, who sold 508 homes worth $208 million and made $5 million in gross commission income in a single year. Pat, do us a favor and list out the 6 steps to 7 figures.
The 6 steps are, step 1 is affirm. And by affirm, I mean goal set. Set a goal and then convince yourself that you are meant to achieve that goal. I think if you sat down and analyzed why so many people set goals and then never make them, right? As a matter of fact, most people set a goal and then quit like 3 weeks later. I mean, probably 99% of people set goals, quit them. They don't want to say, they want to call it quit, but they just kind of forget about it, right? Is because deep down they believe that they're not worthy, that they weren't supposed to. They might say, I want to be a millionaire, but they don't have that passionate, the deep belief that they're supposed to be millionaires, right? That no one can convince them otherwise that they're supposed to be millionaires. And the reason they don't have that belief is because for the first 18 years of their life, they've received so many more negative affirmations than they have positive. Take a 2-year-old child. Have you ever heard the statistics that a 2-year-old boy hears 40 negative affirmations for every 1 positive? Can you see that? Like, imagine a 2-year-old boy. Hey, Johnny, stop. Don't. Come here. No. You know, constantly throughout the day, 40 to 1. Imagine if you had to reverse that, Mike. Imagine if you took a 4-year-old boy and you had to say 5 positive things to him for every 1 no or stop or don't, right? You couldn't. I mean, it'd be so hard to be like, Johnny, good job sticking your finger in that light socket, you know? And over time, that wears on us, that creates this belief that, man, I'm not meant to be rich. I'm not meant to sell 100 houses. I'm not meant to sell 500 houses. I'm not meant to, you know, I'm just average. And so we have to create affirmation that, yes, we are meant. We are supposed to be this, right? And the only way you can do that is to program your subconscious mind by writing down the goal, putting in the affirmation, right? I put it on my phone, and then I listen to it on my phone every day on the way to work, you know, just a couple of minutes. I just played the recording every single day. When I started, I played a cassette tape, and then I made it a CD, and now I do it on my iPhone. So that's step 1, affirm. Okay. Step 2 is track. Tracking is simple. I'll ask you this question, Mike. Why does Weight Watchers work so well? Is it true that, like, if you're on Weight Watchers, I don't know if you've ever been on Weight Watchers, but if you've ever known someone on Weight Watchers, that if you eat 2 peanut M&Ms, that you have to write it down, the number of points that 2 peanut M&Ms equals. Yes, that's how it works. So the only reason Weight Watchers works is tracking, because it forces you to track how many calories you're ingesting versus burning, basically, right? And by writing it down, you track, and that's why it works. So it's that simple, that tracking equals success. Not tracking equals failure. And I've met over 25 years, I've met over 1,000 top agents. Every top agent I meet tracks like crazy. The ones that struggle don't track anything. So I track everything. So that's 2. Step 3, mentor. I've touched on this a little already. I told you about the 65 mentors. I've also developed mentees. I actually own several other companies with mentees of mine. One of the benefits of having a mentee is that you share goals. So if you and I are in a mentor-mentee relationship, Mike, and one of your goals was to open up or expand Mastermind Agent, and we're sharing goals, who is one of the first people that are going to know about this big aspiration of yours?
My mentor.
Right. I've had recently 2 mentees who have shared their goals with me, that what they really want to do is break out on their own and start their own company. And so I've been in a position where I've helped fund them. And so there's multiple benefits to having both mentees and mentors. And then 4 is act, work. And this goes back to what Chantel told me. You reap what you sow 100% of the time. That's how I did it. So that is relative to work. You got to work. You can't just, kick back in this. No one wins the lottery. Step 5 is build. Build. I had a mentor, Dr. Fred Gross, who taught me an invaluable lesson, and then he says, set your goal and then build from a success up rather from the ground up. And so I'll ask you this, Mike, what is easier, to list a house in a neighborhood where you have already sold a house, or to list a house in a neighborhood where you've never sold a house before?
The first one.
Right. And that is what is called building on a success up rather than the ground up. You take a success and you build on that. It's just so much easier. And so every goal that I set the goal first, but then I search for success that I've had. I said, okay, I've sold 3 houses in that neighborhood. Let me become the neighborhood expert. Don't go to some random neighborhood that you never sold a house in before. It's just silly. And I got in a luxury home business. I only sold in 2006, I only sold 1 house over $1 million in 12 years prior. And the next year we sold 10. And I did that methodically. That's what build's about. And then the last one is invest. In invest, I say, are you a millionaire or are you a billionaire? And this is a frustration of mine because I think there's tons of agents out there that are billionaires. You know what a billionaire is? A billionaire is a fake millionaire. Somebody has a $10,000 Rolex watch but doesn't have 10 grand in the bank. They're a billionaire. Beautifully manicured yard, incredible furniture, incredible interior of their house, but they're 2 payments behind. That's a billionaire, and I think the real estate industry is rampant with them. It starts with a car. I understand everybody says, you got to get a nice car because people want to see that you're successful when you pull up. And that's true. I agree with that. If you pull up in a Mercedes, people will judge you as successful. At least you can get a used one and get a deal on one. But it starts with that, and it just grows from there, right? What I tell people is that, what I've done is set up a savings plan, and then you do what Monopoly taught us. I mean, investing in real estate is pretty simple. If you follow Monopoly, you start buying little greenhouses. I've bought over 50 houses, right? I've sold a bunch. I've kept a bunch. I've flipped. I've rented. I've done everything. And then you take the proceeds from little greenhouses and you turn them into what? Right, big red hotels. Big red hotels. So I've got shopping centers. I've got some interest in warehouse, office buildings, apartment buildings, different things I've bought that has provided mailbox money. And I talk about mailbox money. I met another mentor of mine and good friend, and now we invest together, Tim Rode, who when I met him had 21 paychecks. I was like, what do you make? And he's like, I got 21 paychecks every month. I said, 21? What are you talking about, right? And this was like 15 years ago. I'm like, what? 21 paychecks? What are you talking about? You get 21 commissions? He's like, no, I'm out of real estate. He's a former agent. He was like the top agent with Century 21. Then he got out and became an investor. He's like, no, I got a Dollar General store, and I got a Enterprise Rent-A-Car, and I got these buildings that I rent to these companies. And they pay me X amount a month to rent my buildings. And they're mailbox money. These are paychecks that I get every month, and I don't got to do anything for them. And I was like, man, I want to be like you. So he taught me how to do that, and I've done that.
Thank you so much for watching this video. If you found this video valuable and you want to learn more from Pat, head on over to my website at mastermindagent.com/Pat. So I can give you a free audio recording of my 1 hour and 27-minute conversation with Pat. He tells you how he sold 508 homes worth $208 million and made $5 million in gross commission income in a single year. All you need to do to get it is click the link below this video.